So what about Giannis? They talk about SGA, they talk about the Joker, but folks fail to realize the most valued points league asset might very well be Giannis. In this episode, we're going to talk about Giannis and his value in fantasy basketball rest of season. We're also going to cover some waiver wire targets that you need to focus on. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. If it's your first time here, I am Robin Marks, your personal fantasy basketball analyst. I used to work with NBC Sports. I used to work with #basketball. Now I work for you and the people. Earlier on in the season, we were giving away some sports cards. We're back at it again. This is a card that actually nobody claimed. This is the rookie Darius Garland PSA 9. We're going to give this away for February. So if you want to enter to win that card, all you have to do is leave a comment on the YouTube version of this episode and you will be randomly selected at the end of February. Now, when it comes to Giannis, the glaze is otherworldly. He's that old school kind of NBA player. We got so many NBA players who best friends. They go to each other's kids' graduations. They go on vacation together. They work out in the summer together. All of that kind of kumbaya NBA. I'm really not with that. I'm not with that like LeBron era friendship, like the banana boat bros. All that kind of stuff is weak to me. I don't really like that. What I like is like that hard nose, I want to see you in the pits of hell rivalry type stuff. I'm talking about Bulls versus Pistons. I'm talking Lakers versus Celtics with Magic and Larry Bird. I'm talking about fist fights on the court between Bill Laimbeer and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's the kind of smoke I like for my NBA. And Giannis is like a throwback. He's not trying to be friends with these guys. It's like he's on that Drake stuff. No new friends, no new friends. He don't want no brotherhood. He just want to go out there and destroy guys. And that's what I love about him. So before we talk about his fantasy value rest of season, I want to talk to you about Bet Online. BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC, BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. From touchdowns to three-pointers and hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered on every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. So my folks who are watching at home on the YouTube, you're going to get to see this on the screen. But if you're listening, I'll definitely try to explain everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up #basketball, my favorite site for fantasy basketball numbers, analysis, all of that good stuff. And we're going to dig into what's happening with Giannis. We're going to look at his season numbers, and we're just going to deep dive on some of the trends from over the years. So let's start with Giannis's, if you're looking at the screen, you see a lot of green and you see a lot of red. I'll explain the green. First of all, the green is his field goal percentage. He has great field goal percentage, but the red is the challenge that he faces on the free throw line. Also, we got some red for his three-pointers, and we also have some red for turnovers. But you're green for points, green for rebounds. Your man is really out here putting up some crazy numbers. So let's talk about it. So on a season right now, Giannis is averaging 31.4 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, 5.8 assists, and 1.4 blocks per game. So he's producing at a high level. If you look at his recent production, for example, over the last 7 days, we'll go take a look at that really quick. We'll look at his 7-day per game average, averaging 31.7 points per game, 13.3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, no steals, but 1.3 3 blocks. What does that mean? It means with Giannis, we know we're going to get points. We know we're going to get rebounds. We know we're going to get a few assists, and we're going to get some decent blocks. And for a points league player, and this is what I'm talking about, his rest of season points league value, I think this is the type of guy that you want to have on your squad. So you don't have Giannis, then you might want to make a move. But I got more. You can look that up and see that yourself. I got some deeper data that I want to take a look at. I want to look at this little chart here, which is his game-by-game output. Basically, the output based on standard 9-cat scoring on a per-game level. This line represents their average season output. Now, I believe, although this is designed for 9-cat, it still will hold some value if you're doing a deep analysis for points league. So as you can see here, this line is pretty steady, right? You have some dips here and there, but then you have some crazy outliers. Like right here, you see this huge spike, or looks like it was November 12th or November 14th, right? So Giannis is going to have those huge spikes. Now, he did have a major dip here on December 4th for this season, but that's going to happen. I think for the most part, you can see that there's some consistency happening with the production that he's putting out game to game. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Robin, he's consistent. He has good numbers, but so does Jokic, so does SGA. And if you guys want me to do a deep dive on any other players, specifically some of our first-round players, please let me know in the comment section of the YouTube version of this episode. So let's take a look at his playoff performances. I think for fantasy basketball playoffs, that's what it's really about. So often we have guys who get drafted, produce for you, get you to the playoffs, and then either they stink up the joint, hot dog water with the bratwurst residue, dumpster juice, right? Either they stinking up the joint or they're not available. They're banged up. But for Giannis is typically available. But let's take a look at some of his numbers down here with his averages per month. So his averages per month will help to give us some kind of historical playoff value. You should be playing your fantasy playoffs in March. You shouldn't be playing in April. Some guys are like crazy about that. They'll run right to the end of the season. We do not recommend that here. We recommend that you conduct your fantasy playoffs in March. So let's take a look at March 2022 to see what Giannis did. So Giannis here averaged 33.3 points per game, 12.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and check this out, 1.3 steals per game, an increase from most of his season numbers, right? And then, of course, he's going to chip in that block and a half. So he's available. He's available for you in March. That's a huge, huge plus for a player. So that's 2022. Let's take a deeper look. Let's take a look at March 2023 and see if we see any trends happening here. So we did see a dip in his scoring. It went down from the year before, but he's still averaging 29.8 points per game. For a points league, that's wild. A slight decrease in rebounds, but still very, very valuable, 10.8. But check this out. We have an increase in assists here. We have an increase, 7.1 assists per game. Come on, ma. Come on, ma. And you know what we say, woo, 1.1 steals per game. So even though there was a decrease here in points and here in rebounds, he made up for it with his assists. And then he also chipped in with some steals. We did have a slight decrease in blocks. But still, you know what we say, top is off, boobies is out, hair blowing in the frickin' wind. Convertible. Okay, so we talked about 2022. We talked about March 2023. Let's take a look to see what he did in March 2024. Check this out. 31.8 points per game. Yes. 13.4 rebounds per game. Come on. And check this out. 7 assists per game. So he kept the assists going. So the last couple of years, he's been killing it. And then we had, this is really good, 0.9 steals. So that's pretty decent. And then a slight decrease in blocks, but still, that's pretty good, 1 block per game. So for me, my assessment of Giannis Antetokounmpo, I was not as high on him, admittedly. I was not as high on him as I've been in years past. I think the shiny new object, syndrome of seeing the SGAs, the Jokic, but this guy's been doing it for a minute. This is an MVP. This is a guy who produces not just on an NBA level, but also on a fantasy basketball level. So for me, if I can make a move to package some of my second round players, middle round players to see if I could bring Giannis back to my team, I would definitely pay premium dollars to bring him back to the squad. So I'm going to recommend doing what you got to do to get Giannis on your squad. All right. Now, I want to move into something special. Are you ready for the chance of a lifetime? Owner's Box is giving you the ultimate opportunity to turn your daily fantasy game into the experience of a lifetime. Here's what's up for grabs. A grand prize, a trip for two to the Super Bowl, including $5,000 for travel or spending, plus accommodations. A package valued at $31,000. Second place gets a 65-inch TV. Bonus prizes include signed NFL memorabilia. It's simple to enter. All you have to do is play $10. You can play $100 and get 10 entries into this contest. But don't wait. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity ends with the grand prize drawing on January 27th, 2025. To sign up, all you have to do is visit bit.ly/ownersbox500. And if the chance to win the Super Bowl isn't enough, for the first time you sign up, you get up to $500 in bonus rewards. Don't just watch the Super Bowl. Experience it like never before. Again, visit bit.ly. That's bit.ly/ownersbox, the number 500. Or if you want to keep it simple, hit the link in the description of this episode. Now, we got to take it to the waiver wire. I want to say this, that over the last couple of weeks, we've been experimenting, doing some buy low, sell high shows. I know at the beginning of the season, we were gung-ho about doing a couple of shows a week. We have a lot happening here as a family, me as a professional. I also run a small business, two-time dad, and it's been a lot. So for me, I'm definitely going to get one episode out a week for you guys. If you guys want more, just let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to see if I could either create 2 episodes when we film live on Sundays. If you ever want to check us out live on Sundays, all you have to do is pull up to our Discord server, which is believeinfantasy.com, and I usually give an alert when I'm about to go live on Sunday. So we'd love to see you there at the live stream. You can ask all of your questions, and I do my best to answer as many as possible at the end of the stream. With that said, if you want more content, an extra episode, just let me know. So the first player I want to talk about is somebody that is killing right now. And last year, he provided similar value, and I think that right now he has a clear runway to success and productivity from the Atlanta Hawks, my man, Vit Krejci. Now, Jalen Johnson is banged up. We're not sure exactly how long he's going to be out. There haven't been any definitive reports on what to expect in terms of his absence. However, I would say that Vit Krejci, when he gets run, he puts on for the city. And y'all know I'm here in the Atlanta area, so we love to see when this brother gets on the floor, and he puts on for the ATL. So I'm excited to see what he does. He looks like he's going to get at least 29 minutes per game, but let's check out his 7-day stats. Over the last 7 days, Vit has averaged 29 minutes per game. Yes. 13.3 points per game. Come on. 1.8 rebounds and a little shaky, baby. 4 assists. Yes. 1.5 steals per game. Let that sink in. At about a half a block a game. Check this out. On the 25th of January against Toronto, 16-bit Vit Against Toronto, played 35 minutes. Come on. 20 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, and check this out. Come close for this. Listen. 3 steals. Oh, and there's more. He also chipped in 2 blocks. Powerful work. And I'm not done. Guess how many turnovers he had? You guessed it. Zip, 0. Stingy with De Niro. Might buy you Chris, but might buy you Vit, but that about it. No, might buy you Chris, but that about Vit. I don't know, whichever one you like. Anyway, you look at it. I don't give a shit, Sue Puppy. If he's available on your waiver wire, I'm grabbing myself some Vit Krejci. The next player we want to talk about is somebody I've been wanting to talk about for the last I want to say maybe a week and a half. Last week we did a buy low episode, so I didn't get a chance to talk about him, but this is something we need to be really mindful of. From the Miami Heat, your man's in them, Khalil Ware. Especially in dynasty formats. If you are in a dynasty format, this is a stop the tape and go pick him up right now situation, right? This is like fire on your seat, get up and go grab him off the waiver wire. If you don't know what dynasty is pretty much a fantasy basketball format where you are allowed to hold players year to year and you almost act like a long-term owner or GM of your team. So it's a really cool format. If you want to learn more about that, let me know. We'll create some content around that. There's a pretty cool option on the Sleeper app to do Dynasty League. So if you want to try it out there, or Fantrax has a pretty good service for that as well. So let's talk about your man Khalil. Khalil has been cooking with hot bacon grease. If you know anything, you know how we feel about the situation with Jimmy Butler. Like, we love Jimmy Butler as a player. Playoff Jimmy is a thing. But man, Jimmy, $100 cup of coffee is just messing the vibe up in Miami, yo. But this young man is definitely taking advantage. Check out these numbers. Over the last 7 days, Ware is averaging 32.8 minutes per game. On the season, he's averaging 15.9 minutes per game. So it's been a huge increase in his numbers right now. But there's more. In the last 7 days, he's averaging 18.5 points per game. Yes. 9.8 rebounds per game. Come on. A half an assist, not good. 1 steal, but check this out. 2 blocks per game. Like, this is for real. I think that this young guy has an opportunity to really, really make an impact on this squad. He's only rostered in 22.9% of ESPN leagues. If he's available, I'm grabbing myself some Khalil Ware. The next player I want to talk about is also from the Miami Heat. Somebody that I was super high on when he first came into the league, but never really got minutes. So I never really got to see him develop, and I kind of gave up on it. But this recent run has my eyes wide open. From the Miami Heat, it's your men's in them, Nikola Jokic. Oh, baby. This is the Joker. Like, his name is almost the Joker, right? And this is a thing, right? He's playing power forward. I always thought he was a 3, and he playing power forward. He out here doing some bully ball, y'all. I had the opportunity to watch a couple of his clips. He looks really good. Over the last 7 days, he is averaging 28 minutes per game, 12.8 points per game. Yes, 3.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists. And check this out. 1 steal per game. And a half a block. So, listen, if he's available, right now he's only rostered in 12% of ESPN leagues. On the 25th against Brooklyn, he played 31 minutes, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And there's more. He doubled up. 2 blocks. Cooking with hot oxtail oil. Yes, it is a thing. It is a thing. Next up, not as sexy as the others. Oh, I would add, if Nikola is available in Dynasty, definitely another run out and grab now. But the next one is not a sexy name. We've talked about him on the show before. We're gonna do it again, just because he's been putting up some decent numbers. So I wanted to mention him again. From the Indiana Pacers, it's your man's in them, Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard over the last 7 days is averaging 29.7 minutes per game. That's not a stretch compared to what he's doing on the season at 28.4. But he's chipping in 11.5 points per game. Yes. 6 rebounds per game. For a guard, heck yes. And check this out. This is where it gets good, especially for points leagues, y'all. Because you know those assists are heavily weighted. Over the last 7 days, your man is averaging 8.5 assists per game. Come on, ma. We got to, come on, ma. And it gets better. In the last 7 days, your man is averaging 3 steals per game. What? Where they do that at? No blocks, about a half a turnover, which is good. So for me, this is exciting. On the 25th against San Antonio, he had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. So it's a real thing. He's putting up some legit numbers. I'm checking for Andrew Nembhard. Again, not a sexy name, but you know, it is what it is. The next player we want to talk about is somebody that, again, has been pretty good and steady. Somebody I've been wanting to talk about. We haven't talked about him on the channel this season. Not on a deep dive that I can remember. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. But from the OK City Thunder, Cason Wallace. Again, this is not as sexy, but we're going to run it down anyway. Over the last 7, he's averaging 29.5 minutes per game, 8.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. He's kind of been steady for you. His floor is going to be productive if you grab him. So he's not like the others. For Vit, Krejci, Khalil, Nikola, I'm interested in maybe holding them a little longer to see what happens. Cason is kind of like add him, drop him as needed, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I mention him because he has been getting a lot of attention around the way. So we do our traditional rapid fire waiver wire segment on this show when we do waiver wire shows. So basically, if you don't know, every week when I do the waiver wire show, I read a bunch of articles. I check out videos from some of our other fantasy basketball analysts out there. I go into our Discord community to see what people are talking about, what questions are they asking, and then I bring a bunch of names to the table, and then I decide on maybe 5 to 7 players to cover like we did those first 5. Now we're going to do a deep dive in the rapid fire waiver wire segment. But first, I want to talk to you guys about something super important. If you love this community, and you want to invest in what we're building, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Think of it like treating me to a coffee and a bagel once a month. Becoming a paid subscriber will grant you access to our MVP Discord channel. Big shout out to all the people in the MVP Discord channel. It's like fantasy basketball therapy. It's not even like, hey, who do I add? What do I pick up? We do that too, but a lot of it is just being supportive for each other. So I'm really enjoying that so far. We got a bunch of folks in there. Also, you'll have access to priority DM and email replies and priority rate my team videos if you want that. But most importantly, your support will help us to keep creating content. You're not obligated or expected to pay anything to be a part of this community, but there are fees associated with running this operation, and your support will help us keep this thing going for years to come. To get this started, visit BelieveInFantasy.com, enter your email, and select the level of support that works for you. That is all on that. So now, let's dig into the rapid fire waiver wire. Let me get a quick sip. Hold up. Okay, rapid fire waiver wire. Here we go. First up, Nick Richards. Yes. Jaden McDaniels. Emphatic. Yes. He is cooking. Luke Kennard. Yes. Reluctant. Yes. Moses Moody. Maybe. Noah Clowney. Maybe. Derek Jones. Reluctant, yes. Kelly Oubre Jr., emphatic, yes. Larry Nance, because of injuries, he's getting some play right now, maybe. Jordan Hawkins, yes. Harrison Barnes, reluctant, yes. Jose Alvarado, maybe. Lonzo Ball, I'm really interested in this. Let's see what happens. Emphatic, yes. And last but not least, Justin Edwards. Now that you know which players to grab off the waiver wire, check out our episode about how to execute a fantasy basketball trade. This episode was presented to you by BetOnline.